Alright, welcome to Ox Billiards. We have a Wednesday night friendly between two local players, Timothy Del Mundo and Zach Ross. Both in the mid 550s, they're playing an 8-ball race to 10. Both local players in Seattle, both members at the club. So yeah, should be a good match. Should be fairly evenly matched. And off we go. We have a lag in favour of Tim. Zach is Ox Billiards' official Q Sports communicator. Does a lot of commentary, does a lot of work on the stream. We're looking to get a few more matches coming out on the members' nights for Ox. Ox is a membership club. You can have 24-hour access, including Mondays and Wednesdays reserved only for members for pool and snooker. So yeah, Ox is a club for the players, and Zach is officially involved. If you want to do a Wednesday night matches, if you want to do matches on stream, if you get in touch with Ox or with Zach, I'm sure I can help you out. Anyway, we have Tim to break in rack 1. Ooh, unlucky strike of the cue ball for Tim there. It was a great contact. Big spread of the balls. A big, beefy break. But unfortunately put the cue ball straight back into the back corner. So Zach starts in the kitchen here and should have a pretty good look at the balls. The only issue might be if he chooses solids to get on that 4 near the baseline, it probably only cuts to the left back corner. As far as position around the table goes, though, I think it's a fairly open look. And he is choosing the solids. Nice touch and control there to get over for the 3 ball. It's got to reach a little bit over the 2, but you should be able to put this in one rail and come back out to the center of the table, and you can have a look at the 2 or the 5. So position's automatic. It's just an awkward bit of queuing. Alright, he chose with the stun. He's got a decent look at the 2 here to stun over for the 5, and then it's the touch control. If the 4 passes into the top right, then he's okay. Ooh, he caught that one just a little bit too thick to the pocket. Alright, unfortunate miss for Zach there. I think Tim's probably going to be licking his lips as he looks at this. Shouldn't have any difficult balls here. The only slightly awkward one is the 9 only really comfortably going to that top left corner. But that should be fairly easy to work on, especially early on in the rack. Tim had a bit of an awkward opener there. He went through the balls and didn't really get a good sit. Can't see him comfortably looking at any of these. Yeah, he's going with the safety. Just getting the cue ball down to the baseline. If he can get behind the 11-8, he's good. And looks like he has. There's no window there to the 5, so that's a pretty good containing shot for Tim there. Oh, maybe Zach can see the 5. Oh, what a shot. All right, he did leave the window. Pretty nice make there for Zach. He's gotten a little close to his work coming through for the 4, but he's definitely in with a chance to run out here. All right, caught that one thick again. Yeah, sucks to miss, but if you're going to miss, you might as well make a mess along the way. And he's gotten that green 14 ball at the back a little bit on the awkward side. So we'll see what Tim makes of that here. If he gets a bit high on the pink, then he could stun down into it and move, like bump that 4 or use that 4. So use that 4 as a break. We'll see how he decides to do that when he gets down to that end of the table. Alright, a fairly clean run around the table there. Got the speed pretty nice. Came in line well with the 9. So it looks like he's looking to get that little bit of high angle to play into the breakout of those 2 shots. So it looks like he is going for it. If he gets onto the wrong side of this pink, then I expect him to do some kind of safety. Or he'll go for it now. Alright, he had the angle now. Might as well go for it. It's a little unlucky to not get a sit on the 14 there. But, you know, this is 8 ball. He has choices. He has options. So, looks like he'll be taking the 9 and looking to draw back a little bit or stun across for the 14. He definitely wants to get rid of that 14 before taking the 11, because that transition down the table for the 8 ball will be much more difficult than basically playing a stop on the 11 to the corner pocket and then taking the 8 in the side comfortably. This is probably what he would like to do. We'll see how he gets there. Yeah, that's pretty nicely played. He's left himself enough angle to move up and down the table. So things are looking pretty good. He's probably a little bit steeper than he'd like to be. But he can use a little bit of side to help this ball go into the pocket and help move around the angles and pass to the center of the table, ideally. Looks like he's lining us up with a little bit of inside spin, a little bit of running spin. He's going to go in front of the 4. Yeah. Oh, no. Sometimes you get the worst case scenario. That's okay. This is a race to 10. Plenty of 8 ball left. Zach should be able to tidy these up now. Hopefully he hasn't gotten too straight on this 4, because then he has to play a touchy draw all the way back, which it looks like he might have done. Oh no, he had a little bit of stun across. He's just run a little bit too far. Player's choice here, yeah, side pocket. Yep. Typically, I think players would opt the side because they are a little bit shallower of the ball. But, you know, the corner pocket tends to take the ball a little bit more forgivingly at this from this position on the table, but he has chosen the side, so all he's got to do is make it, and that looks pretty good to me. All right, Zach 1, Tim 0, off the mark for our local Q Sports communicator. All right, first look at Zach's break. It's almost looking like a mirror image of Tim's, but he manages to avoid the scratch in the bottom. Made a ball though, so he's back at the table. This layout is definitely not as pretty as the previous one. This is sometimes how it goes with 8-ball. The solids don't look too bad. I think the solids are definitely the friendlier of the possibilities. It's definitely the easier set to run out. So Zach is fortunately that he got that one and got an easy look on them at the start. Oh no. That's really one he got knocked down. Tim, however, comes to the table with bit of an awkward layout for the stripes. That 10 ball down by the 8 is a problem for him. The 9 and the 12 are a little bit tied up there. So he's got work to do if he wants to get out at this visit. Probably will look to do that as well, because Zach has enough balls on the table that playing a lock-up safe, whilst possible, is not super on the cards. I think Tim will probably come aggressive here. If he can stay in line and keep the angles like how he wants them, then he should be able to attack this position. He got into that one a little bit heavy. So if he was probably looking to play the 11 in the same pocket. But now he'll be a little bit farther away than he probably would like. He's queuing over the balls. Makes it a little bit awkward. So we'll see what he decides to do here. The 9 might pass the 2, looking at it. If the 9 goes past the 2, then he can look to bump the 7. Possibly bump the 8 off the 10. Yeah. Ooh, he's missed it. He's missed it, but he's left a mess. Hard thing to learn. Typically not what you go at when you're a player who can run frames. But if you're going to miss an 8-ball, you might as well make it messy. Zach now has a bit of an awkward set with the 3 and the 7 down near by the 10. He'll work his way out the other end of the table first, but we'll see if he can get a good angle to go into those. He is now on the wrong side of the 6, so if he wants to swing around for that area of the table, he'll have to go spin it around the rails, or he'll just take his medicine and set himself up long, which is what he decided to do. But he was also leaving the cue ball safe. So safe in air quotes, and Tim definitely has options coming out of here. None of them are as controlled as he'd probably like. We'll see if he calls the 10 here, or if he just plays 14 down to the corner. He'll play safe behind the 11. That's a pretty good decision there. I mean, I think it's leaked out a little bit so that Zach can see probably half of the 7. But it's not like Zach is in a position to truly run out. So I think Tim made a pretty good decision there. The other ones were probably a little bit aggressive to play the 14 or play the 13. But yeah, I think that's Zach is just playing to free the pocket, playing the cue ball into a bit of a dead zone. So that's a pretty good idea. He definitely he made pretty good of a pretty weak situation. So I think that was a good outcome for Zach. It looks like Tim's straight on this 9 ball, which is unfortunate for him. Yeah, just play it, get the cue ball a little bit free. Now he gets to decide whether he goes very aggressive or not. Like this 13 ball looks like it cuts to the top left. It's an aggressive shot. He can probably get up past the 14 if he does take it, but it's by no means an easy or a guaranteed make. The other option is he could play safe up the table using that 11 ball by the side. So he has options. It looks like he's going to play aggressive. When he's caught it thick. Yeah. That was definitely the more aggressive option. He would have ended up with another tough shot on the 14 up into the same pocket. But he hasn't left Zach with a huge one. He has got this 7 ball off the 11. He's got a bit of a backboard going there. Yeah, it's a pretty nice make. Yeah, it's looking pretty good for Zach now. He has an option here. Does he come out of the same pocket or does he slow roll? Yeah. It's definitely not what he was looking for. I think he was probably trying to use that green 14 as a break. Use it as a stop ball. But it is... you are flirting with the pool guards when you do that. He's called the top right. Ooh, look at that. Not quite. Yeah. Queuing off the rail all the way up the table. It was a big ask. He might have sold out the frame here. We'll see if Tim can tidy these up. Should be pretty good. Yeah, Zach got a bit unlucky there with the double kiss into the perfectly wrong spot when he came off that 14 ball, but that's just how pool goes sometimes. It can be a cruel and unforgiving game. Ooh, it was aggressive. Tried to cheat the pocket there. Obviously didn't get. Caught it a little bit thick to the pocket. Yeah, he's left himself. Not a worst case scenario, but definitely second to worst. He's got to look at this 11. I guess he can play it, or he can play safe cue ball to the baseline. There is two. If he plays it and he drives the cue ball heavy into the baseline and comes back out, he will probably get this. Yeah, this, as Scott's saying in the Facebook chat, this is a tough set. Alright, he went for it slow. He was playing it two ways there, I guess. If you miss that, you leave with the cue ball on the baseline, you make it, then at least you always have a look on the 8. It's probably just not the look you would give yourself with ball in hand. Yeah, he can play this to the top right corner. So bottom right corner, it's tough make. Ooh, unless he goes to the bank. Tim, not known to choose the bank very frequently. We'll see if he changes his mind. It looks like he's lining it up. Oh, okay. He calls the bank, but he's actually playing a split safe. And that is pretty good. Whenever you play that long table split safe, you want to get that second diamond to second diamond at the foot rails. So yeah, that's pretty solid as far as speed safes go. Excellent shot from Tim. At first I thought he was lining up a proper full table bank. That would be quite a look. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, avoided the worst case scenario, wrong pocket. For those who don't watch a lot of 8-ball, you have to call your pocket. If you make it in the wrong pocket, it is option for your opponent, or if it's the 8-ball, it is loss of rack. So Zach almost won and almost lost this rack in one go. So yeah, Tim's got a difficult look here. But he has a look, so he'll be happy with that. All right, nicely put in from Tim. He is off the mark as well, 1-1. Here at Ox Billiards on a Wednesday night. Wednesday nights are members' nights. Ox is a 24-hour club for its members. If you are interested in practicing a lot, interested in meeting very good players, getting nerdy, talking technique, fundamentals, coaching clinics, etc., Ox Billiards is the club for you. 24-hour access for members. Snooker tables, pool tables, the works. It's a great club for players. The equipment is in tip-top condition. Tables freshly covered. Snooker tables fairly recently covered, but they play great. Cloth is in pretty slick condition. So yeah, check it out if you're interested in Q Sports. All right, here we're going into rack number 3, Tim to break. Another booming break from Tim, and this time managed to keep the cue ball on the table. He's made a couple of balls here. He hasn't. He's got a good starting shot on the solids. The solids, however, are probably the weaker of the sets here. That 3-ball it goes into the bottom right, but is a little awkward to get on. He could, if he can time a beautiful draw shot off the 5, he could get on it now. Depends if he thinks that's a shot to take on this early in the rack. If he makes that 5 and doesn't get on the 3, he will be in a little bit of trouble. So we'll see what he does. He could also take this pink stripe into the corner. It's probably a decent look. The only problem will be that purple stripe near the right side. Getting onto that, it could be a little bit awkward. It does go to the top right. It will go to the bottom right. But it's not the easiest ball to get on. use the entire pocket on that shot. But he's laid up pretty good to get on his only real issue coming out of this rack. I'm assuming it does go past the pink. Yeah, nicely played. He's kept a good little bit of angle on both the 15 and the 12. So he's got a good amount of options here. He just has to, he'll probably play down to near the end rail to play that 10 ball. It just depends. Does he have enough angle on this 12 to comfortably stun over for the 10? If he stuns over for the 10 and doesn't quite get nicely on it, then he will be definitely at a disadvantage. But if he has enough angle, he can go across. Otherwise, with this 15, it looks like he has enough angle to follow off the long rail, or just follow straight and get on this 10. Okay. Fair enough. He chose to stay above. This makes this shot a little awkward. He needs a little bit of inside spin, a little bit of right to come off that rail to get down for the 10. Doable. Execution wise, these shots can go a little bit thick. There's a rolling cue ball. So he had to compensate for a little bit of inside there. End up overcompensating a little bit. But he has left Zach a little bit weird. He could opt to defend here. He might be able to play the 5 into the bottom right, or he can go for the 7. That's going for it though. I think he's got a little bit fortunate here. He has left an awkward. He's left the 10 to covered, and he's left the 12 just a little bit thin. It's like the same shot that Tim had last time I was at the table, but harder. Alright, so he's called the 1 rail bank. He's going to have to do a bit of work to get on the 10 after this. See what he comes up with. Alright, well he's got it. He's definitely got it. Very thin on this 10. Can't hold for the 8 ball. It's too thin to hold. He can play it 2 rails back out for the 8 in the same corner. The braver one would be playing it up and down the table back to where the 10 is now to play the 8 in the side. Yeah. Awkward positional shot. We'll see what he comes up with. Yeah. It's come a little bit long of his position if he was playing that 2 table lengths position for 8 in the side. Fazioli on YouTube, no worries. We're looking to build Ox streaming platform. If you want to get your matches streamed, you can organize that with Zach or with the club directly. We'd love to get you on board if you like to play pool and you want to come down to Ox. Ooh, a little bit thin for Tim. Yeah, he ran out of position a little bit towards the end of the rack there. Now Zach has wide open to clean up. He's got his choice of starting balls here. You can start with the 7, the 4, or the 3. I would personally start with the 4, which he is doing. Just come off the rail here. Yeah, nicely done. Okay, mate, I hate to disappoint you. There's no Christian commentary today. There's only me, Matthew. Christian is responsible for the setup, though, so he's done an excellent job. I've never actually run a stream before, but this is, yeah, really well done. So props to Christian and the tech team. The back of house at Ox Billiards. Zach ran out of position a little bit there, but he's managed to recover pretty well. He should be able to play 7-ball, 1-ball, down for the 5. Just drop the 8 in that corner. Position's automatic on this shot. This one he wanted to escape the rail there. This does make coming down the table a little bit awkward. He can play forward 1-2, but he's really going to have to push it. That's a pretty good effort, considering where he's queuing from. The rail does make it awkward, does limit the amount of side spin you can use to swing around the rails how he wanted to. If he was like a foot deeper into the table there, he would have used a little bit of high inside spin to go around 1-2 and come much deeper down the table. That's a pretty good make, and he might end up a little thin on this 8-ball, but at least he'll be close. Yeah, so he's going to have to stretch into the table here. He is right-handed, which might save him a little bit. Yeah, letting up a lot of inside spin. Oh, and the miss. Yeah, it's a miscue for Zach. Unfortunate for him. Just got a little bit too thin on that 8-ball, stretching out just a little bit too much. But that is another rack by concession for Tim. Yeah, Tim leads 2 racks to 1. All right. Apologies for having the overlay there. Just got to look at Zach's break. It's a pretty decent spread. He's had, unfortunately, a lot of the balls float over to the left-hand side of the table. That's not, the clusters are not through lack of power. He definitely juiced it up a bit. But yeah, he's got most of them out there on the left. Neither set is a breeze. The 3-ball's a little troublesome. The 9-ball's a little troublesome. He's going to pick the solids and see what he can do. I think he was trying to move the 3-ball just there, just trying to nudge it a little bit. Didn't quite get the contact. But he's still at the table, and that's the best position to be in. Yeah, just sort of poked at that 2-ball a little bit. Didn't quite leave the cue on the table as he struck through. Tough shot, tough position. Queuing high on the table like that. He was all in on getting that 3 bump. He has at least secured the set that he likes. Secured the solids. We'll see how Tim decides to dissect this. Yeah, nicely played there. Got the breakout. Yeah, he was always going to have a look on that 10-ball and possibly into the side as well on that purple stripe. He's not completely out of the woods yet. That green 14-ball in the top left does play a little awkward. So he's got a little bit of work to do, but he has solved problem number 1. cued that one pretty smooth. Wish I could do that. Yeah, I think he's ended up fairly straight on this 11 ball. I think ideally he would have been just like a couple of cue balls widths over to the right, and you could stun into the 3 or past the 3 for the 14. He might be able to move it though. See what he decides. Or you can just thin it. I mean, why not? If you like it, take it. That was a beautiful shot there. He ended up with a pretty nice layout. So yeah, like that shot was obviously much thinner than the 11 if you decided to shoot that, but sometimes you can see the angle and you feel comfortable with it, and you can just take the ball then and there. And if that's you, you should definitely go for it. Touchy shot into the side here for the 9 ball. If he gets this and gets any amount of angle on the 11, yeah, just like that, he should be feeling pretty good about this one. This one, he's got a little bit of angle, so if he can play this with a little bit of high right spin, he should be able to go into the end rail and come fairly straight out off of it, and then have a look at the 8 in the side, assuming the 8 ball is not glued to the 4, so he should have pretty forgiving look if he's up this end of the table. Okay, he's choosing outside. He looks like he's going to swing around the rails. I think the speed can be touchy on this particular shot. Yeah, he wouldn't have had a good lay anyway. Unfortunate to rattle that ball, but Zach comes to the table. We'll see what he can make of this. Oh no, that back cut shot. It's always awkward. Most of the time, it's always thinner than you think. And then you get into the spots where you overcompensate for that thinner than you think, and you end up cutting it a little bit too much. It rattles out of the jaws, just like Zach did there. Unfortunate for him. Tim should be able to come up 1 or 2 rails here. Oh, he's gotten onto it a little bit heavy. It's a little bit heavy. Definitely not what he was looking for there. He would have much rather be around the spot. He's going to go from the side anyway. The 6 ball looks like it's in the way of any scratch in the corner. So should be able to shoot at this fairly comfortably. It's just queuing off the short rail is never fun. Hey, Christian. I mean, yeah, if you can remote join in, we'd love to have you. Christian Young is part of the Ox Billiards team, responsible for most of the streaming setup, cameras, installation, networking, etc., and also quite a fine player himself. Oh yeah, a little bit thin for Tim there. Just got a little bit too heavy as he came around the table and getting on the 8 ball. And now Zach gets another look, and this time with a much easier starting shot, so he'll be pleased to be back at the table and looking at this. Alright. Got the 7 ball fairly comfortably here. He's got the long 6. You can take the long 6 and float down for the 3, or you can play the 4. Yeah, this is my preferred approach. Play the 4 and then you can end up near the foot rail. Ooh, friendly bump. Friendly. Neutral. Neutral bump. Yeah. That was a little bit of a tough look. Unfortunately, if he'd had the 6 to the side, he would have been pretty handy out there. And now Tim can drop this in fairly comfortably, I would say, and look to put himself up 3-1. Alright, he does so. 3-1 for Tim. I think we'll be looking at Tim's break as well. They're alternating the gentleman's format. Always good to see. Yeah, for those just tuning in, this is a Ox Billiards members only night friendly match. Ox is a 24-hour club, so those of you who love cue sports, want to have access to high quality equipment all hours of the day, reach out to Mike, reach out to Ox directly, and take a look for a membership. I'm personally a member, Zach is a member. It's a great club, great equipment, great team, and yeah, we all love playing here. Alright, now we get to look at the beef break again. Yeah, pretty nice spread, pretty nice sit. You might get unlucky and not make a ball though. That 4 ball's floating with it. Alright, a lot of power, but the ball's tracked across the table and it was kind of clumped up. If you break dry, that's kind of what you want to see. But it looks like he has made one. Must have missed that. Apologies. Both these sets look a little awkward though. All those balls up near the right side. Yeah, he's chosen solid. I think that's probably the best of the worst lot. Be interesting to see how he works around that 7 ball down the bottom corner. So see how he works around the 5 and the 3 near the side. So he's going to do a big draw shot here to try and get into position. I like it. I like it. He's opened up the 5 for himself. He can stun across and open up the 3 as well. It doesn't solve the 7 ball problem. In 8 ball, if you get close to running out, you get nothing. So we'll see if he just opens the table for Zach and he can come and eat it up later. But unless he has a plan. Alright, he definitely has a plan. He's doing something here. Okay. Option to play safe. I don't think he was trying to roll the 2 in afterwards. He would need a little bit more speed to do that. But yeah, he's just played him containing onto the side of the table. That's a pretty good idea. Pretty good shot. Alright, no rail there for Zach. Looks like he was just trying to put balls in the way. And that was basically the only option that he had. But Tim now gets to look at this with ball in hand. And yeah, and definitely take the 3. It is the most awkward sit. You can get out of this and take a look at the 2 afterwards. But even if he runs a little bit far, he's always got the 6 ball to play with. So yeah, definitely advantaged him. Not like he should run into too many problems here. Yeah. 2 ball here, 7 ball again, and then out for the 3. Sorry, out for the 6, and he should be feeling pretty good. Oh no. Talk about worst case scenario. That was the only thing that could go wrong in that draw shot, was getting somehow between the 14 and the 10. And he's managed to do exactly that. Sometimes it just goes wrong. He's going to take a look at the 7 here. If he gets it, he wants to put a little bit of speed on it. Definitely has luck on his side in that shot. Passed it twice. Still managed to get a valid hit. And leaves Zach a little rough. You can look to play safe here. Put the cue ball on the side rail. At least take away the 7. I don't think the 14 passes the 6 to go on the side. Otherwise he would have sized that up pretty much immediately. The 9 ball obviously goes. If he goes for that 9, what does he end up with? Look at the position he's going to get now. He might get on the short side perfectly. That's still a difficult look. He might have made that ball, but to what end, right? Alex is asking what the action is. I don't think there is action on this game. This is just a friendly match played on a members night. Yep, very nicely played there to make sure you have plenty of space, fairly comfortable shot into the side. Tim will look to extend. Alright, nicely played. 4-1 up for Tim. Alright, here we are back for rack 6. Zach to break off. Alright, pretty nicely struck. Pretty decent spread. There is a problem, 2-9. But that's basically the only problem on the table. It's a problem for both sets. So Zach gets the pick of the draw here. Looks like he can either play 1 to take solids, or he could play the 10 down past the 2-9 into the corner to take stripes, or he could take the green 14 into the corner pocket, so the side pocket. I personally would probably take solids, which he is doing. I feel like that the angle you can get on the 5 goes into the 2-9 fairly well. That would make that breakout or solving that problem a little bit easier for the solids, just for my personal preference. Ooh, a little bit thin to the bucket there. Didn't it open it up? So Tim comes still with just as many problems on the table. Scott's asking, what's the triangle they use to set up the rack? Right, so that is a template rack, and basically it is machined to be the right size for the balls, so that they will sit in sort of little holes in the rack, in the template, just to ensure that you get a tight rack pretty much every time. At Ox, we use them pretty much all throughout the club. They're available to players for either casual or league play, and it is encouraged here that you use the template to get a tight rack. It basically is a much more reliable way to rack the balls tightly than using the triangle rack. Right, exactly. And it's also just so they don't like move around a little bit after you take the triangle off, for example, or like with the triangle it's often hard to get them to sit tightly in the first place. So the template does that. It can affect the balls a little bit if they roll over it slowly. So it's not without its disadvantages, but typically the balls spread better and the rack is much tighter with the template. Alright, Tim's working away at the stripes here. Still has not solved the 2-9. If he gets a good angle on that pink stripe ball, he can go into it from that. However, he doesn't have that angle now. So if he does use that ball to break them out, he's sort of at the mercy of how they roll afterwards. He's got no insurance for other balls on the table to take after the breakout. He sort of wants to be like down next to that 3 ball to take that breakout angle. Safety play off of that is not super friendly. He could play safe now. Doesn't look like he's doing that. Oh, interesting choice. Don't think he's going to get away with it though. Yeah, if anything, he's made more problems for himself. Good try. It's very hard to judge that angle off the short rail to go into the 2-9 combination, or 2-9 cluster if that's what he was trying to do. But unfortunate to get that kind of sit. See what he makes of this. Definitely he'll be disappointed that he didn't get that contact. Pretty good outcome there. He's managed to tie up the 5 with his 2 stripes. That at least takes it out of the game before it would have passed into that left corner pocket. So he has done that. And Zach has got work to do if he wants to run out here. But Zach also now has better options for playing safe if he chooses to take them. Once you put all of your balls into one small area on the table, you are victim to safeties. Yeah, nicely played. Nicely played. Always was going to have the 7 after that. So Zach solved his problems. Now he just has to run out. Oh no. Ah, no. Yep. Tried for the power stroke there. I'm not sure he really needed to, as long as he was happy to take 6 into the side. He probably wanted 6 in the same corner, which, you know, understandable. He just powered that one a little bit too hard, and it was a little bit off angle. Sometimes that extra bit of power does affect your stroke a little bit. It affects your alignment just a little bit. You can take a tiny degree of accuracy out of the balls, and Zach fell victim to that. Pretty nicely played by Tim. He's going to hit the 8 ball. You can make it a little bit awkward. Probably play this in the side. Side with a little bit of top, hitting that sort of first diamond to the left in the short rail. Oh, went for it. Just caught it a little bit to the near jaw. Alright, Zach is back. Open look again. Ooh, drew into the 5 there. It's a difficult back cut. If he gets this, he can go around the table and have a look at this. 6 through the gap. Goes across once. Yeah, nicely played. How straight's your queuing? That's the question being asked here. Pretty good. He'll take it. Yeah, 8 in the side. Zach should be looking pretty good here. Nicely played. Alright. That claws back a little bit. We're at 4 games to 2. Alright, back we come. Brack number 7, Mundo leading Zach Ross 4 games to 2. I want to scratch on the break again, same pocket for Tim. All that juice. Just got to keep the cue ball on the table. Zach will be in the kitchen here shooting forward. Pretty big spread. I don't think any set is objectively worse than another. I tend to favour the stripes if I had ball in hand anywhere on the table. Scott, yeah, so the cue ball was running back to the corner pocket, back right corner, and then Tim just picked it up because he saw it going in. It can be a problem with that big break, is that there's so much weight in the rack of balls that it can push the cue ball back quite a long way. Alright, yeah. Zach's made that pretty comfortably. Pretty good sit. He'll play for the short side of the 14 here. Yep. He's ended up a little bit, he's come a little bit short. A little bit thin, so I'll probably take the 11. Take what the table gives you. Oh, he's got that a little thin as well. He's got most of his misses have been a little thin. There's like one ball width thin of the pocket. At Ox, the balls are very clean. Everything slides pretty true. So a dirtier ball will throw thicker to the pocket. So Zach might just be might be used to a different playing set. The balls just travel that little bit thicker to the pocket. Here at Ox, to clean the balls that we use, so they're nice and shiny. You can see the reflection of the lights. So might just need to make a little bit of an adjustment. Tim would have been looking to get on 3 there and takes it out of a slightly awkward position covered by the 14, but unfortunately got a bump. We'll have to consider some other options. I don't personally like the one in the top corner because you do move the 8 ball. Always avoid moving the 8 ball if you can. So the other option is the 5 into the corner, 5 in the top left. It looks like he's going to line up on the 1. Yeah, nicely played. Well controlled. Got a good, safe double kiss on the 8. So yeah, he's looking pretty good here. The 2 ball's a little awkward positionally. He'll make it, but coming out into the center of the table is a little bit awkward with that pink ball there. Alright, he's got a long poke at this 4. If you can get this to stun run through. Oh, interesting. I would have played a little bit deeper into the table, gone forward just a little bit, played that 7 ball next, just finished that end of the table. Now he's got a fairly long look at the 5. It can be a little weird to get on this 3 ball if you end up coming too high off the table on the rack. So I think he's going to probably play for the 7. Crossing the table though. Yeah, risky. Yep, crossing the table always brings the side into play. I think he probably thought that the 10 ball would stop him, but just managed to sneak by at the perfect amount. Zach with ball in hand here, at least can always get rid of this issue ball. This is his only real problem on the table. So if he can come off 1 rail for the 11 ball after this, we're looking pretty good. He's almost connecting the dots here. I expect him to leave this 10 ball. This is his key ball for the 8 ball. Playing into the side should give him a lot of options to come around. A lot of options regardless of the angle he gets on it. So now he's just looking, if he plays just dead stop on the purple ball here,
does that give him the nice angle to get up for the 10 straight? And he seems to think that it does. And I agree. Oh, use the entire pocket there. He's gotten a little bit, he hit a little heavy. He's got a little bit of an awkward angle to go through here. He can play this with inside down into the rails to die off that short rail. Oh no, didn't get enough top. You need to drive that into the long rail a little bit more and then have that side spin take sort of 1 inch past the pocket and turn back into the long rail. And then he has a pretty straightforward, albeit long, down the liner for the 8. But yeah, unfortunately didn't get quite enough turn off the bed of the table there. And Tim should be able to mop this up. Ooh, he's gotten a little heavy on this one as well. Yep, a little bit too much power in that one. I'm guessing he'll play 1 rail across. Oh, and cut it a little bit long. Unfortunate for Tim. Unfortunate for Zach on the scratch in the shot before. He's got another look here. It is awkward though. It's sort of a scratch in both the ways you can look at it. Play directly into the pocket. I think most players would prefer this in the side. Play low on the cue ball, play it in the side. You should be able to come up just between the pocket and that first diamond on the right. It is hard to tell from this angle in the camera, but it's definitely awkward. Oh no, oh, not again. Oh, he's escaped that, but he's left it looking pretty good for Tim. Yeah, Scott, we got multiple angles here. It's a very fancy place. Thank Christian for all that. He did all the setup, all the presets. I know nothing about streaming. I'm just here to do the talking. All right, Tim knocks that one home. He takes a 5-2 lead. All right, Zach hit a break in rack number 8. Anthony, this isn't a tournament, actually. This is just a friendly match and members night. We are looking to stream more matches at Ox Billiards. Probably mostly on Wednesdays. Wednesday night is a members only night at the club, so it's usually fairly quiet. We always have the money table to ourselves. When I say money table, I just mean the one with all the cameras. But yeah, so we are looking to get more regular streams going, more regular matches being played on members night and streamed to the channels. If you're interested in getting a match, talk to the club directly or talk to Zach. Zach is the official Q Sports communicator for Ox Billiards, and we can definitely work with you on that. We will need you to be a member though. This has to be a members organised thing for Wednesday nights. Membership at the club is a great deal. You get 24-hour access, top level equipment, etc., etc. I'm a member myself, so is Zach, and it's a pretty good package. Scott, mate, there are all manner of people who play at Ox, all different levels of skill. There is no entry level requirement. There are also a lot of players who hang out at the club and are willing to talk about the game and like working on fundamentals, pool theory, etc. So it's a great place to come and improve if you want to do that, or if that's something you're interested in looking at. Yeah, we all love it down here. The equipment's so nice. The people are really good. People are really nice. So yeah, talk to Mike if you're interested, and we can get you on the blooper reel if you like. All right, Tim's working away at the stripes here. It was a pretty awkward layout for both sets. He's come a little heavy on that ball, so he would have loved to shoot the 11 after this. He could play safe on the 11 still, just put it down at the baseline, make it difficult for Zach to control the game. But it looks like he is going to do something creative here on the 10. Not sure what he was playing for there. Zach still has an awkward layout here though, because that one ball only goes to the right side, and getting there is a little touchy. Anthony, to play on Wednesday nights, you do have to be a member. That is a hard requirement of the club. To get streamed, not necessarily. You could look to do that in open to the public nights. But I think most of the streaming we're looking to do will be on a Wednesday night. But yeah, once again, talk to Zach. He's the one who knows more about this. I'm basically filling in today. And Scott, yeah, if you're mates with Zach, he has all the details. Zach's a great member of our community, really good for the pool scene here in Seattle, and pretty good player himself. So yeah, definitely chat to him if you're interested. He can hook you up for sure. Just came a little bit thin on that ball, but he's left it uncomfortable, I would say. Like, this is a long 10. Tim will have to drill it in pretty confidently. And even then, he doesn't necessarily have the 15. It looks like it could go up to the left-hand corner. So he could have options there. But definitely not an easy starter. Yes, it might be quite straight, but it's a long way down the table. So we have to cue this pretty good. Yeah, nicely played. Looks like he was trying to stun run through to play for the short side. He did get that. It was probably a little bit thinner than he would have liked. But he should be able to muscle his way through the one ball. Hopefully he doesn't tie up the 8 ball. If he does manage to get thick into the one ball, which it looks like he has the angle to do if he plays for the right corner, if he does muscle his way into the one ball quite thick, he should always have a look at the 11. Oh, got that a little bit thin as well. As Zach gets what's arguably his only good look at an open table, mostly open table I should say, in this rack here. So steep on the 7, but nicely played. He has the 4 to the top. He has the 1 to the corner. He would have loved to take the 6 ball, but controlling the cue ball, slowing the cue ball here at Ox with that much ankle can be hard. The rails are pretty bouncy. The cloth is pretty slick. And yeah, that was a tough look at the 4. I don't think he should beat himself up for missing that. He played it good for the 6. He would have been able to play this a little bit thick to the pocket and come off 2 rails up for the 1. A little bit of inside spin. But he's left Tim a tricky shot into the side. He'll want to play this slow. He does risk getting stuck or pushing a little bit close with the 8 into the side pocket for comfort. He has gotten away with it pretty well though. He's just got to play this from the short side down to the corner, and then the 8 ball is automatic. That was touchy from Tim. That he got out of it pretty well, that previous shot, but it was tricky and it could have gone wrong. And yeah, just caught that a little bit thick, came into the long rail a little bit too early, but he has made that 6 ball pretty bad, and it's kind of do or die here for Zach in this rack now. That 11 ball goes pretty easy, even playing safe on it. Like the kick shot will always be available to Tim, and the 8 ball is near enough to the side that position isn't super important. So Zach's got a bit of work to do here. If he's feeling really aggressive and he has the right angle on the 4, he could almost play into the 11 here. Play the 4 into the left corner and play into the 11 on the right corner. That's definitely what he went for. You know what? This isn't that bad. Tim cannot play this into the corner pocket. It's a scratch automatic. And it's going to be a very thin cut into the side. The cut in the side should not scratch in the corner pocket, but the cue ball will run. So the rest of the table will be open to the cue ball, so he's got to be a little bit careful here. Basically got to hit it as slow as he can whilst still making the ball. He should be able to drive it into the long rail, hit about that first diamond. Awkward shot for sure. Yep. Nicely played. Nicely played. Tough shot. And he made it. Tim takes quite the lead now. He's up by 4 racks, leading 6 racks to 2. All right, here we are back for rack number 8. Got to look at the beefy break again.
Hopefully he can keep it on the table this time. Alright, it is on the table. Didn't get quite a square a hit, but he still made a ball on the side. Made one of the nut balls. I think that was the 9 ball. Yeah, it looks like the 9. He's got a decent look at the 10, decent look at the 15. Nothing is, strictly speaking, in trouble, I would say. So Tim could be looking at a pretty comfortable run out here. Taking his time because he has that pocket hanger in the corner. He'd like to play the 11. Whilst yes, it means that you're almost a guaranteed make. It can be a little bit awkward when the 11 ball comes off of that to know where it's going to sit. And given the look he's at the moment, he'll have to get fairly straight on the 11, so he'd probably want to take that next. So I think he'll probably look to play the 10 and then play the hanger, get rid of it. And play around the table for that. Yep, here he goes. Interesting to see how he plays this one to get for the next ball. I'm assuming it's not going to be the 11. Oh no, he's playing short side. Okay. You can just roll this one down. Take the 12 off of the rack. And then he's got to decide, does he want the 15 or the 14 to be his key ball? The 14 would be better, but actually it doesn't matter. Unfortunately miss for him there. Looks like he was trying to hold for the 14 into the corner, which, yeah, that's fair, that's fine. Yeah, just caught that 11 a little bit wrong. And Zach comes to the table fairly open here. Didn't want that clip on the 3, so now he's a little bit in no man's land. He has a free look kind of at the 7 ball. He'll always put the cue ball back into that back area of the kitchen of the table. If he plays it a little bit low, a little bit outside. It looks like his only attacking option here is to play at that 7. It is difficult, but he usually will be able to end up with the cue ball in the kitchen, have a look at the 3 in the side after that. Ginned it. Absolutely ginned it. That was a beautiful shot. Beautiful make. Ended up cluttering with the balls a little bit. Definitely would have liked to come back shallow of the 3 there to avoid moving the balls. Most players will avoid moving the balls when they can. But it was a beautiful make. He ended up a little awkward in the one. Had to jack up. Yeah, tough shots. He's made a mess, so he'll be okay with that. Yeah, he would have. If he'd gotten a good look at that 1 ball, he would have probably been able to run out there. Now Tim comes to the table a little bit awkward. Not impossible, just a little bit awkward. He's got to decide how he wants to get onto that 11. Has a very thin short side, which most players would rather not play for. Yeah, played that one pretty nice. He has taken away the 15 though, so he's going to have to play the 11 now. Looks like he called the corner pocket.
Going with the cross bank. This is a risky one because the cue ball will be crossing the path of the 15 for a fairly long time. And getting back for the 15 is a little bit awkward. He blasted it. Yeah. He didn't have much else to play on that ball. He didn't have a lot of safe options. Like Zach's balls are pretty well spread out. So that was basically the best he could do. He just had to make it and hope. But now Zach looks at a fairly nice table. Unless you bump the 6 and tie up with the 15. That makes it awkward. Not impossible, but awkward. Oh, and rattles the jaws there. That's okay. Yeah, he's gotten away with that. I'm assuming Tim doesn't have the 15 to the corner. That potting angle is a little bit weird. If he wants to get really fancy, he could play the kick. That plays with the corner pocket there afterwards pretty firmly. When I say kick, I mean kick into the long rail on the left-hand side, play the 15 to the right corner. But typically the cue ball will follow fairly straight on the tangent line, and he risks going into the corner pocket pretty much directly. So, let's see what he decides to do here. Yeah, I think he was definitely trying to play that. And he gets away with it again. That one ball's looking nice and cozy over there. Zach's checking if it passes. To us, it doesn't look like it does, but the perspective from the camera can always be a little bit off. The players obviously have the best view of the table. If it does go, then Zach played position pretty much perfectly. It looked like it did. It looked like it went. Tough. Even if you have the line, playing that shot with that ball close always does mess with your perception, just a tiny, tiny bit. So that was always going to be a difficult shot. He had the 2 ball if you made it, and he's left Tim a bit of an awkward look. This is a blind pocket back cut. Knowing Tim personally, this is his favourite shot in pool. We'll see what he does. It looks like the 15 is way too close to play it straight into the pocket. It looks like he's going to size up the 11 ball into the corner. Oh, he's gonna cue over it. It didn't look like it passed to that top left, but I guess it does. This is awkward cueing though. This is a very, very difficult execution. Nicely played. Nicely played. Cue ball ran a little bit, but it was always going to. That shot always ends up high on the ball. Cue ball always ends up rolling forward. So we've got another difficult cue here. If he can make this and control the cue ball to not roll too far down the table, he'll have 8 in the side fairly comfortably. But this is, as far as straight cueing goes, as testy as it gets. Cueing off the rail. Cue's always a little bit elevated. You don't strike center cue ball, the ball is going to turn on the bed, and you're going to have a tough time making that ball. Yeah, call that a little bit off. You would have had 8 in the side. Even then, like at that speed, that's about as slow as you want to play that ball. You still would have had a non-trivial 8 into the side. But on the other hand, Zach doesn't have a trivial follow-up here. Tim's cue ball is on the short rail, so he can play safe down to the other short rail. That is always available. And so he's played that 2 ways. That's a smart play by Zach right there. He's always going to leave the cue ball up on the table. Tim's always going to have an awkward look, and he's managed to get behind the 2-8 and now 1 as well. So, yeah. Good decision making there. It's a high percentage decision from Zach. Alright, nice contact. He's a legal shot, but Zach has got a pretty nice looking 1 into the side. Looks like he's got a little bit of angle. Looks like he's got a little bit of angle, so he probably won't be able to play 2 in the side, which will be the most comfortable look at the 2. But he will be able to play 2 in the corner. Unless you just run it around the rails. It's always brave. Oh, looks like that ball is dead behind the 8. Yeah. Running it around the rails, shooting to the side with that amount of pace, especially here at Ox. Deep jaws can be difficult. You just didn't quite get the carry on it. Ooh. Swing and a miss. That's unfortunate for Zach. That unlucky to end up dead behind the 8. There's basically like 3 inches of table on that line that he could end up in that didn't work. Somehow he managed to find it. That's unlucky. He's just got to keep the concentration high. Everyone misses. Everyone messes up runouts that they should run out on. But the really good players just put it after them and get back to the game. Anyway, Tim's looking here. Was a little bit wobbly on that ball, but he's made it perfectly for the 8 ball. So he should be able to mop this up. Alright. Tim is off. Makes it to a 7-2 lead. Zach's got to find his way back into this game. Alright, another dry break for Zach. That's unfortunate. He's putting a fair amount of power into the ball. He's hitting it pretty square. You'd expect to make at least 1 with a tight rack. So getting a little bit unlucky there. It is a little bit on the messier side though. Oh no, he has made 1. It looks like he's made the 3. Okay, yeah. He's actually got to look at the one that can open up the pack a little bit there. Oh, and he's just rattled the jaws. Unfortunate. He hasn't exactly left Tim with a clean run out, so I think Zach will expect to get back to the table at least once here. And they are playing open after the break, so Tim can take the solids here. Yeah, nicely controlling the speed there. You can play the 2 into the 1. He still has to figure out how to deal with that 7 ball though. At least the 5 and the 6 should play into the corners after that 7 ball's gone, or even just the top right corner. Yep. Roll it on. Don't make the 2. Good. A little bit deeper than he probably would have liked in the table, but yeah, that's okay. He might be able to play into the 14 ball here. We will see. Yeah. He's going with the left. So fun fact, Tim actually is left-handed in his day-to-day life. At least I've seen him writing with his left hand. So he's not too bad on the other side. Yeah, nicely played. 7 on the side. Yeah, good thinking from Tim there. That solves one of his problems. It looks like he's a little bit shallow on the ball to go into the 5-6. But he should also be able to stop and play the 6 long. The table does run pretty far though, so he's going to have to jack up a little bit. Yep, nicely done. Ooh, now he's going to awkward queuing over the 14. And it looks like he has an angle to avoid running into the 5, which is good, but it also means he'll end up on the wrong side of the 5. So 6 to 5 was always going to be hard, and it looks like it just got a little bit harder. He might be able to play the 5 to the top left. If he does that, he's more likely to look at the 6, but it's definitely the harder shot to execute. Alright, looks like he played for the super thin cut. He has left the table for Zach though. I'm going to start off with this 10 ball. Nicely done. Down the rail here at Ox, the ball does slide in pretty nicely. Zach knows that. Played that pretty well. Very forgiving in that regard. Well held just there. If he does choose to play a 13 in the side, that was a well held ball. At Ox, the cloth is almost brand new. It's been played in for a few weeks now. Andy cloth. It plays great. It plays slick and it plays fast. And the rails are very, very bouncy as well, so it can be very hard to hold your cue ball here at Ox. It is closer to the conditions that the pro tournaments or the pro World Tour pros play on. So it is up there, but it takes a bit of getting used to. Now both Tim and Zach play here. Oh no! So he caught that one a little bit thin. If he'd caught that at the angle he wanted to, he would have avoided that scratch. That wasn't an automatic scratch by any means. Yeah, just caught that a little bit thin. Cue ball went a little bit farther off than the tangent line and ended up scratching in the side. Alright, it looks like Tim has checked this ball and it rolls into the right side pocket. So he's just got a little bit of angle on this 5. He can go off into the into the long rail on the left, or he can stun it over. He could probably play into the rail. Ooh, not quite. It's a rare miss from Tim. I wish he would miss like that when he plays against me. He rarely does though. Interesting to see what Zach makes of this table though. He's got a problem ball. That pink ball by the 8 is a problem. I think if that cut comfortably into the side, he'd be shooting it now. So I'm assuming that it doesn't. Alright, he loaded up on that one. Was he playing for the corner pocket? He might have been. I'm assuming. Typically, if that ball doesn't go past the 8, that means it does go. If it go past the 8 into the side, that means it will go down past the 8 into the corner. Oh, he's got. Oh, not again. Not again. That's unfortunate. Unfortunate for Zach. Usually, you'd think that those 2 balls on the side rail offer a little bit of protection there. But now Tim should be able to roll this in and then roll the 8 ball in as well. Unfortunately, Zach has scratched a couple of times late in the racks, and that is Very unforgiving. I think this is the third rack where Zach has scratched or fouled late in the rack, and Tim has had a look at a run out, which he probably didn't expect to get. Alright, home it goes. Tim leads 8 racks to 2. We'll be back shortly with rack number 11. Alright, he took a little bit off that one. Not quite as much power as he usually uses. Not as much power as he was using earlier in the match. And he almost crashed again in that same corner. He has made a solid. He hasn't got a good look at any ball really because he's queuing out of the jaws. But if he can get a solid down here, he should be able to look at most of his balls. However, the 8 ball has quite a bit of traffic. I think the solid balls are the only ones he has to look at out of the jaws, really. I think he might have the 11 past the 3. It can be difficult to tell from here. It kind of looks like it, I would say. I don't think he'd want to play that ball anyway. Like, the stripes are pretty awkward. Like, that 6 ball can go super thin, but the 10 ball definitely can't. The 5 ball is there to allow, like, a nudge on the 6-10 if you get the right angle near the long rail going into it. So I think the solids is definitely the better pick here. Queuing out of the jaws, though, is always troublesome. Have to look at it pretty good. Yeah, and doesn't quite get there. And he's left Zach a sitter to get started and pick the better set. So Zach with a good opportunity to get back in the game here. Get back on the scoreboard. See what he decides to do to pick apart this rack. It looks like he's quite straight on that 3 ball. So yeah, he's opting with the 1 ball instead. Yep, good decision. The 3 ball isn't really going to lead you anywhere if you're very straight on it. Oh, doesn't quite get it. The shelf, the pocket shelf at Ox Billiards is very deep. So some other tables might have slightly tighter cut pockets. But if the shelf is shallower, it can take the ball a little bit better, especially in shots like that. So Zach there has fallen victim to the Ox shelf. We've all been there. We've all done it. But it does open up a couple of opportunities for Tim here. So he could play 6 carom into the 1 if he wants to free the 6 ball and make the 1. He could play the 1 with draw back into the 6 to nudge it and then always have the 5 up the table into the 3. So he's got a couple of options to play with here. He is shooting with the left though, so he might limit what he wants to do. Yep, draw into the 6. Nicely played. Definitely got the opening he was looking for. Has the 5. Has the 4-3, but he probably won't take it. So Tim's looking pretty comfy here, I would say. Getting onto the 6 can be a little weird, so it looks like he's going to play a high ball here and get it now. Yeah, nicely done. That's not going to run too far. Yep, good. So yeah, Tim's in the box seat for this rack now, and that will put him in the box seat for the match, provided he can keep it together and run out here. Unfortunate for Zach to hang that ball. not only was it a miss, but it definitely opened the door for Tim to get a much easier run out than it was before Zach's shot. I say that, but the 8-ball was still looking a little messy. Calculated shot past the side pocket from Tim there. Sometimes you look like you're going to go towards the side at an angle so thin that you could never make it in, but somehow you do it every time. So good play there to avoid that. You should be able to come out sort of towards that foot spot here on the line. Yep, right there. And have a look at the 4 in the side and the 7 in the side. The other option is always to play the 7 in the corner. A lot of players prefer to shoot the corner in almost every case. I personally much prefer the side. I think the side offers a good variability in position play. But he could play stop 7, draw back from the 4, make the best of the 8-ball. Oh, caught the far jaw. Unfortunate. He would have had a good look at the 7 and even enough angle on the 7 to do a stun run back into the pack there and open up the 8-ball possibly. So, good idea from Tim. Good position. But unfortunately just missed that a little bit thin. Zach's got a little bit of an awkward layout here. The balls all do have pockets though, so as long as he can get down in amongst them, could be alright. Oh, not another scratch laid in the rack. Zach, no. Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Just need to get a little bit heavier onto the ball, a little bit more spin on the top side of the cue ball, drive it down to that short rail and come back out probably for that ball at the bottom of the pack. But yeah. Tim with a good opportunity here. We'll see how he opens the 8-ball or how he gets positioned to play it into one of the sides or the corners. He might be able to just draw back a little bit here off the side. Play into that pink 12. Or not. I'm not sure what he had in mind there. He's going to play the bank. And knowing Tim, he definitely would rather not be doing this. I would have expected him to play into the pack there at the very least. The 8-ball doesn't have a clear path to a pocket, so you're not going to make it early. But at least it'll give you some better opportunity than playing a full table bank. Oh, he fired it. Oh, and scratches on the 8-ball. That is, I'm assuming, a loss of frame. It is a loss of frame. I don't know if that's the rule they decided to play, but Tim's conceding anyway, so that settles that. Tim leads 3 racks, so 8 racks to 3. Little discussion of the rules there. I'm not sure what they were saying. I will go and ask them. Back in a moment. So the discussion there was the edge case of what happens if you scratch and you pocket the 8-ball in the wrong pocket, and the answer is just loss of frame. Alright, nice break from Zach there. That's the best spread of the balls he's had all night. The cue ball was going to scratch, but managed to get kicked by another ball. So he got a little bit of fortune there. But this is a good-looking spread. Definitely the best break Zach's had in the match so far. He's going to look at the stripes. I think that's a good decision. Alright, decently played. He's sort of left himself under the super thin 10 or the 9 into either the side of the corner. Neither of those are... I think the 10 ball is a little difficult. The 9 ball into the side of the corner, I think, is the most makeable look here. It's just where are you going to end up afterwards. Ideally, he'd look to get on the 10 ball, because that one is a little bit awkward. Like, that window between the pink and 8 closes it a little bit. So if he can get back for the 10 here, which will look like he's going to do it by the 3, yeah. That looks pretty good. I mean, the 8 might be eclipsing the edge. But if it's not, then he has a pretty comfortable look at the 10. And it looks like that's what he's going for. This will bump the pink a little bit. Yeah, so that gets the pink out of an awkward spot. As long as he gets past that, it doesn't look like it did. So he's probably going to have to play safe here. Unless he can play the 14 into the 12. And it looks like he's lining that up. If he makes this, then that will also get the 14 out of trouble. So that could be his best look at running this one out. Difficult shot. Definitely touchy. Well played. Unfortunate sit. Unfortunate sit. He would have loved the 15 after that. When you play those combinations though, the angle, the speed, the spin, changes your line of aim. Oh, maybe he does have the 15. Or not. He does not have the 15. Alright, Tim's going to take ball in hand here. His table is open. We'll see what he makes of this one. I don't think there are any real problems here on the table. The 8 ball is a little awkward. He's going to have to play short side. But that means I expect him to leave the 2 ball as his key ball. So I expect him to start probably on the 5, 5, 6, 3, 1, 7, 2, 8. Something along those lines. The other option is to start with a 3, 3, 6, 5. Yeah, looks like his decision. Most players like to clean up one end of the table, or like if you put the table in thirds, like so if your foot third, your spot third, and the kitchen end in the center of the table. Most players like to clean up those thirds in one go. It just gets you in amongst the balls and takes out half of or a huge section of the bed of the table that you just don't have to worry about anymore. You typically don't have to go up and down, you don't have to cross the table that much. So yeah, Tim's going to start in the middle of the table, 6-5, and then down to the 1-7. I'm assuming he'll play the 2 and just float the cue ball across the table to play short side, 8 into the top left corner, and he should be out from there. For the players who are new to the game, just if you watch how he gets down on the shot, to us everything looks fine, but something's wrong for him, he'll just get back up and start again. That is a great habit to make. If you get down and it looks not quite right, nothing is stopping you from standing up and taking the shot again. You can always get up and reset. We're not playing with a shot clock here. You don't have, and even if you have 30 seconds might seem like not a lot of time. When you're at the table, it typically is. Oh no, that's a bad miss for Tim. It leaves Zach with a pretty decent look. The awkward part, like Tim had that run out for sure if he made that ball. You have the 1 draw back a little bit into the rail, 2 across the table, 2 into the corner of the cue ball across the table. Zach just has to avoid the traffic here, which he's done. Nicely played. And he's got a look at putting in back-to-back racks. So he just has to get over the ball a little bit. He has to cross the center line of the table again. Got a nice, comfortable look. Oh, he's rattled as well. Unfortunate for Zach. He was just trying to cross the table. He's a little bit of inside spin on that ball to get it to turn off the short rail up towards a sort of one diamond of the opposite short rail and come back down in line for the 8. So he definitely had the right idea. It was the right decision. It's just the execution was not quite there. Alright, Tim comfortably made that one. He made it look pretty comfortable. A kind of long distance shot is typically very, very missable, especially when you're queuing off the rail. That was nicely played. Alright, Tim controlled that well too. This one's a little bit awkward. He's got a little more angle than he would like. If he was a little bit straighter on this ball, he'd be able to play it low with a little bit of right hand spin, come back out. Now he can do the same thing, but it's much more of a stroke shot. He's got to hit this basically as slow as he can, but with as much spin as he can get on the ball. So it is definitely awkward, definitely difficult. He runs the risk of just sitting right on top of the 8 ball shooting this, or getting a bit too high on the ball and having to make it past the 15 somehow. He's played that pretty well. A little bit more outside spin and you have a very comfortable look into the top right. He still has the top right. This is probably a little more difficult than he would have liked. Makeable. This is a makeable ball, but it is hard. The problem is, if he misses, it's almost a dead sellout every time. That 15 ball for Zach is not worth trying to play the cue ball safe for that and make the 8. You're better off just going all in on making the ball. And he's missed. Yep, and here is the sellout. Zach should be able to roll this in 2 rails running, or just 1 rail top. And have a pretty simple 8 ball. Yep. 1-2 running, and he's straight in the line. Perfectly played. Zach should have a pretty high percentage on this. Can't mark it early though, it's commentator's curse. Yep. Nails it in. Alright. Back on the board again for Zach. This time he's run the 8, so he should be feeling a little bit better about that. Yep. Tim still leads 8-4 though, so plenty of work for Zach to do in this stream. Alright, Tim to break again. Hopefully avoids the scratch. Maybe keeps the power on this time. We'll see. Yeah, though he had the power that time. A nice pop break. He's going to get it though. That might look like a lucky late ball, but that is a predictable ball on the break-in 8 ball. Usually it gets caught up a little bit in the traffic around the table, but given a clear path, that ball is fairly consistent. But he put the pop on this time, really got the cue ball off the bed. It's always a fun break. He is very good at that break. He does it in 10 ball all the time, does it in 8 ball fairly regularly. So it looks like he made a solid. Made the 4. Does he like the look of solids though? That 5 ball is a little awkward. I don't think he has a stripe to start on, so he's probably going to be forced into taking either the 7 or the 1. Or possibly the 3 as well. Seven is a bit of a stretch, but I expect him to go for this. Put a little bit of outside spin on it, return to the center of the table. Or if he's going to queue up on it though, I expect him to just play top, hope for the best. That is the other option. If he plays top, he'll still have the 2 in the side. He might have the 1 ball if he goes across the table twice. Might have the 3 ball if he ends up a little steep. He's thinking about it though. This is awkward. This is a shot you want to take your time on. Yep, well controlled. You did bump the 9. I'm assuming they're not playing all ball fouls. Otherwise that's not a question. So yeah, nicely played by Tim. He's getting started in the rack. This all comes down to that 5 and whether it passes down to the bottom corner. Very hard to tell on the camera. He hasn't gone over to look at it though. So maybe it is a clear pass when you're down there. If it is, then he's looking pretty good. He kind of jabbed that one a little bit. Not his usual smooth stroke. I think if he'd smoothed that through a little bit, he might have come a little bit farther out into the middle of the table. He's got the 2 in the side, or he's got the back cut 3. Back cut 3 is a little awkward. The back cut 3 though can lead you down to the 5, but he's going to play the 2 instead. Yeah, nicely played. That's a pretty... it's an okay outcome. Having the 9 block the puck is obviously not ideal. The 5 is in a little bit more of an accessible position though. Doesn't have a pocket cleanly, but it is more accessible for position. It might... it probably doesn't pass the 14 on the thin side of the pocket. So he does have more work to do. He can... If he gets a nice angle on the 3 ball after the 6 here, then he could play for short side, play it up into the corner. So it looks like he has got that little bit of angle that will let him roll the ball with a little bit of side down into that area of the table. He's also given me a great opportunity to use the side onto the table camera. Haven't really used this to great effect all stream. I've been waiting for this moment, guys. Oh, he's overcut into the side again. Interesting. He's missed the side pocket thin, as in hit the far jaw a couple of times today already. Might need to make just a little adjustment in terms of his aim. He's actually down to business. He's got places to be. This one he can hold if he uses a little bit of right hand spin. Okay, chose to try and go around. Clipped it. If he'd gotten around that, it would have been a very slick looking shot. He's got the super thin cut into the back corner. I kind of like that shot here. Yes, you could play the 9, but that takes away a little bit of insurance on the 5. So provided... yeah, okay, he's going to go with the thin cut. Good. If you make the 9 there, you kind of have to run out. Like, which is fine. Like, it's fine. But you typically want to avoid the situation where you need to run out. Like, if you have insurance, you might as well keep it. So, good decision there. He has made it a little bit awkward to make the 9 ball now. The pink, yes, they are close, and yes, they are close to the pocket, but the sit is a little bit weird. Oh, he's got it. And he's avoided the scratch. So he's at the table. Is this how he wanted to be at the table? Yeah, probably not. But you could play the... So this is one of those shots where you can play the 10 like full in the face as you see it. And then it'll probably put the 12 cleanly into the hole. Yeah, there we go. Full in the face as you see it. So he even got the double kiss. He hit that full. Yeah, that's a pretty solid outcome for Zach here. He's looking where he wants to shoot the 15. So this is a couple of ways to play this one. I think most players will play this low, fairly full with a bit of outside. Sort of stun draw into the rail and then climb up it a little bit. Yep, just like that. So he's basically got it almost perfectly to the line which he was holding his cue on. So that's very well played. It can be really touchy. That ball can really get away from you if you hit it too hard. And also you can, sometimes you baby it to avoid doing that, and then you end up just like in no man's land behind the 8. Alright, he's got it. That bump on the 8 though is not what he wanted. He's just pushed it a little bit shallower into the table. It's makeable though. He can make this ball. He does have a risk of hitting, he hits the right hand side of the 5 thick. He might go into the pocket, but that's a gamble you'll take at the table. Yeah, nicely played from Zach. Great shot. Very well played. All right, he's getting his way back into the game. He's up to 5. Tim still leads by 3, but it's much better than I think it was 8-2 scoreline that we had at one point. So yeah, Zach's back in. All right, get a look at Zach's break. Looks like they're all still on the table. But the spread is decent. Cue ball got away from them though. We'll see what Tim makes of this. I think the 10 might sort of sneak past the 2 there. It might be his best option. It is close though, and the double hit is on. So he's got to play this one pretty carefully. It could actually lead him pretty cleanly to the 11 ball though. So if he just tapped it in, but he's going to go for the solids instead. Not sure I like that. I'm guessing the 7 passes the 15 once the 3 is made. I feel like the stripes had an easier layout positionally. Because he might make this 3, but then he almost has to shoot the 11 next. So the 7 next. Yeah. He's forced his way out. He had a little more angle than it looked like on the camera. So he's gotten into space. I don't think any of these are particularly good looking for him though. If he has the 5 clean, then that's a big help. It looks like he's eyeing up the 1 on it. He's got the 5 clean. Okay. He has to come back out to center though. Okay, yeah. No, he's making it work. You can play this 7 ball, draw back just a little bit, play for the 2. The 2 balls is awkward ball. Not because it's impossible to make, but it's just position can go wrong for it. The other 2 balls at the top, you know, sometimes might end up a little bit thin, might be a little hard to play for the next ball, but position doesn't really go wrong per se from making it. Okay, he struck that really nice, almost too nice. He struck it too good. So he ended up a little thin on the 7 ball, and he's taken away the one on the 6. He can make this work though. Getting through the traffic is going to be difficult. Sort of the lines that you cross the table here, like through that like 1-2 diamond on the right hand side on the short rail, back up through, sort of leads you to the wrong side, given that the 14 is blocking that pocket. But he's got a pretty friendly hit on that stripe there, so now he should be able to get out from here. Should be able to roll, should be able to play this 6. He can either roll it down past the 1, or he can stun across down past the 1. And he should be looking pretty good to get out of here. Bridget, hey, if Alex wants to play, he can let us know. This might become a bit more of a regular thing for us, streaming matches on a Wednesday night, friendly races on a members night. So if he wants to play, get in touch. We can put him on the table for sure. Yeah, nicely played on the 6. Hopefully he hasn't ended up too straight here. If he has, he can always draw back into the right-hand side rail and come back for center table. If he's got a little bit of angle, he'll be able to draw back just to the center of the table much more comfortably. Yeah. Oh, he's cooked that a little bit harder than he would want to. Yeah, in fact, he's hooked it way harder. So he's a little bit thin. He probably still can play this for the corner. It's just one of those shots where you want to play with a little bit of high inside spin. Yeah, he's calling it. You want to avoid crossing the line of centers of the table, which you can get into here. So as long as he puts just a little bit of inside, outside you can play, but when it's this thin, it kind of makes the deflection a little bit harder to judge. This is a lesson I unfortunately had to learn recently at a tournament. The inside spin here is actually your friend. Oh, he went with my option. He did exactly what I did. It makes the deflection a little bit difficult, and you end up hitting the ball a little bit thick typically when you play outside spin on that shot. And you end up hanging the ball. Now, in 9 ball, unforgivable. In 8 ball, it's not the worst outcome ever. Yes, Zach has a much more open table now that Tim's made all of his balls. But that 8 ball sitting in the pocket there, that would be the preferred pocket for the 10, would be the preferred pocket for the 11. So now Zach has to do a little bit more work. It also depends, is he frozen to this ball? Saying probably isn't. I'll see if the other camera angle looks a little bit better. Oh, it might actually be touching. That's a touching ball. You can play it. I'm guessing it's not though, because it looks fairly lined up. Okay, nicely struck there. Nicely struck. Queuing over the ball like that to hit that clean is very hard. So very well cued from Zach there. You can play this down on top onto the 14. That is a pretty good effort as well. When you're shooting from the ball glued to the rail like that, yes, you might think you can hit it straight down, but if you catch any part of the side pocket jaw on the way down, that ball is missing by a mile. Oh no! Yeah. That's a rough play of the jaws for Zach. Tim's got a little bit of an awkward one here. Depending on how deep that is in the jaw, it can kind of be awkward to place from straight on. And queuing over the 15, yeah, he's looking at it twice. Not as trivial as it looks here at Arcs. I would expect him to be able to hit it just a little bit on the left-hand side, and he should be able to make this ball. Comfortably made it. Alright, Tim is up on the hill. Zach is at 5. So plenty of work for Zach to do, and Tim I don't think is breaking, but at some point he'll break for the match. And that's always the position you want to be in. Bridget is saying Alex got up to an 8. Congratulations, Alex. It's now harder for you to win. Punished for his success. That's how we like it. Yeah, all in all, congratulations. He has been playing very well, so well deserved. Oh no, it looks like Tim is breaking this rack. So breaking on the hill. He's one good spread and one collected run out away from winning this match. What does he win? Glory. Money? No. Glory? Yes. Let's see if he brings out the big powerful pop break now. It looks like he's going to pop it. He didn't quite get onto that the way he wanted, but he has avoided the scratch, which has been the bane of the Tim break today. He's made a bit of a mess though. He didn't quite get a square hit on the head ball. So that means the balls get pushed a little bit off to the side. Ended up with a little bit of traffic on that. Oh, a lot of traffic on the right hand side. Definitely the stripes are the better looking set because of that. And the 5 goes down, but it's awkward to get there in a way that you can control. The 11 goes a little more comfortably, and then the 14 will go afterwards. I expect him to take the solids here though, because he doesn't have a good look at a stripe. Solids are not especially bad per se. I think the stripes definitely look nicer. Sometimes though you have to take your medicine. Oh, and he's rattled the jaws again. He's had trouble with the sides today. I'm sure he'll be going back and practicing that. Practicing his shots into the side. Is sort of like a round half ball shot into the side. It can change a little bit, like the part of the pocket opening that you have to aim for. I think Zach might have a look at the stripes here. He might be able to play this 10 ball onto the 13. Combinations like this are always a little bit more awkward than they look. So we'll see how he plays it. He's jacked up as well. This is a tough shot. Yep. And he's missed it. So the rack has changed a little bit now. I think the stripes look a little bit better than the solids now. Not that the stripes look better than they were, but the solids look worse than they were. Yeah, I expect him to play the 13. Come up the table. He would love to take a look at the 11 here, but I think he's run just a little bit too far. Yep. Nicely controlled. Now I can play the 10. That completes that section of the table for him. As long as he's not straight, he should be able to get out into the center of the table here. If he's dead straight, then he's sort of going to draw and hope. So hopefully for him, he's got a bit more availability than that. It looks like he's aiming high, so I expect him to go around the angles. That's alright, Tim. You can put that forward wherever you like. Nicely played. Now we can see the 11. He can run into the 14 here if he wants to get a little bit creative. You can play the 11, a little bit of outside spin, run into the 14, and then probably have a look at the 9. As long as he catches that 14 full in the face. Or he can just go sort of over the ball, across the table twice. Yep, and play for the 9 in the opposite corner. Yep. He's avoided the scratch here, so that's pretty well played. He's probably a little bit fuller than he would like. A little bit closer to the rail, a little bit fuller. He might be able to force this with inside spin to go forward past the 1 and then get center of the table. Like center, perfect dead center of the table is exactly where he wants to be here. So we'll see if he can force his way there. He does run the risk if he plays forward that he comes off the 9, off the rail into the 1 ball and then into the hole. So hopefully you can get away from that. Yeah, he's going to go under just to avoid that, I think. This is awkward though. Awkward queuing. Yeah, nicely played. Yeah, is not quite there. In an ideal world, he would have put a little bit of side on that shot. But when you're jacked up queuing like that, you're inviting the miss if you do. So he played that sort of medium ideal spin, I would say. I think he's eyeing up the bank here. The bank is awkward because he has to spin the cue ball around the rails to get a good look at the 8. Yeah, he's playing it. So if he can spin this around the rails, come down for the 8 ball on the side, he'll be looking pretty sweet, but that'd be a sick shot. Yeah. Didn't quite get there. He would have had the 8. He would have had a difficult 8 though. It's definitely not the 8 ball that you would take optimally. Zach has a pocket for every ball now though, so he'll be looking to play this out. Starting with the rest is never ideal. He could play the 6 down and then have a much more comfortable look at the 1. That's pretty well played. To play low and outside with the bridge, that's usually pretty tough. Usually when you're queuing with the bridge, to use outside spin, the ball feels like it deflects a little bit more. So being able to judge that with the bridge is pretty solid. So that's a well executed shot. Yeah. Nicely played down for the 3. I'm unsure if the 4 passes 14 after this shot. I'll check it with the camera. If it does, then that's a little more comfortable. Yeah, not quite. I mean, he'll have the best eyes for it, but I'm not convinced from up here. You might have to play the 6 and then play for one of those other balls in the corner and then look to play the 4 in the bottom right if it doesn't pass. I think if it passed, then he wouldn't be going back and forward. Oh no, looks like he's going for it. I'm guessing it goes then. Oh no, he's playing for the 7. Yeah. I think the 6 ball, playing it with a little bit of a lot of high and a little bit of inside, would have allowed you to break closer to center of the table. And the center of the table there, with the balls as they lay, opens up all your options. Tim's a little bit awkward here though. He's got... Not sure he can play it down to the corner without scrunching. Yeah, I mean, this one you can kind of do it if you can play it slowly enough. Play it with a little bit of inside to make it stand up a little bit on the rail. But any amount of pace on the ball means the cue ball will slide off the 14 and probably scratch if you make the right angle to pot the ball. So definitely an awkward positional shot and definitely an awkward layout here for Tim. Not a lot of safe options, unfortunately, for him. He might be able to play the ball full in the face with a little bit of high inside spin just to have the cue ball follow it and have it go down onto the end rail. But unless he obscures the 7, which is pretty easy to make from anywhere, then he'll be in trouble. Yeah, so he's playing the safe. He has obscured the 7. It looks like Zach still has the 5 though. And if Zach has the 5, then he's a pretty decent shot to run out. The 5 is a little awkward because it has to pass the 7. I know if you catch the 7 thin, it's an automatic go in, but if you catch the 7, you can catch it a little bit awkward, just enough to make the 5 ball rattle the pocket. Just like that. Yeah, you see, caught a little bit too much of the 7. Yeah. It looks like it goes comfortably, but it can actually be pretty tough. Those shots where you risk the carom of a nearby ball, it always amazes me how much the carom angle can change with what seems like a little bit of extra thickness. So, not an easy shot to get started for Zach. Fairly good save for Tim, but a little bit loose. Zach definitely had an opportunity there, even if it was just a half chance. But looks like he got away with it. Unless Tim manages to obscure both of those pocket balls. I mean, Zach can still play the 4, but that would be pretty mean. I expect to see the 4 going to the side here. Oh, he's getting a little close to his work here. Little close to his work. Looks like he got a couple of inches of separation, so he can play the 5 if he wishes to. What looks like he's going to do is just, where is he going to end up after this? He's probably going to run into the 7. Yeah. So he knows a little shallow on the 7, and much shallower than he would like. I think the 6 on the side is available. 6 on the side, out 1 rail. Yeah, it looks like what he's going for. Should give him the 7 fairly good. He's just got to make it. Yeah. At that kind of speed, the pocket is probably going to spit it out. Unless you make it absolutely dead clean. This is still awkward for Tim though. The 8 ball is in the way. So this will be a thin cut into the corner if he plays it that way. I'm assuming he might actually be able to go past the 8. It's very hard to tell on this angle. If he can though, then he can just roll it. Yeah, no, he had to play it thin. Didn't quite get there. But he has, once again, somehow left Zach pretty awkward. See what he makes of it here. I think the best option is probably to play the cue ball behind the 8 ball. And it looks like that's what he's going to do. It is a little bit touchy. Like, that 8 ball plays big, but the table plays fast. So it can be hard to get it right there. At the end of the day, though, even if you leave the cue ball on the side rail, it's going to be a hard cue. Yeah, so he hasn't quite got the hook, but the cueing is still difficult. This is not an easy shot. Anytime you're cueing off the rail, anytime you're cueing at a ball that's very far away, yeah, you're a chance to miss. Everyone's a chance to miss. We had a pro 9-ball event here recently, and there were players on the circuit that would not take this shot and opt to play safe instead. And Tim doesn't really have that option because it's 8-ball, but yeah, it's a little thick. Yeah, that shot's really hard. If you're playing on a 7-foot table, you know, that shot probably goes in more often than not. But here and this distance and the way the rails are cut at Ox to cue off them is pretty hard. So yeah, it's a difficult shot. Zach played a pretty tight looking shot there. And look at the action. Well played. Well played. You can come 1 rail up for the 8 ball here. Zach should be looking at winning rack number 15. Oh, he kind of threw his arm through that. Yeah, didn't quite get the cue ball that he wanted. Looks like he's going to save up. That's pretty nicely played. I think he's at he might have left the thinnest of edges, but he's taken away the potting angle into the corner. So, I mean, Tim could absolutely go ballistic if he wanted to and play to the top left if he has the edge. You know, then you're really swinging for the fence. So, well played by Zach. Obviously, he would rather have gotten higher above that 8 ball and just made it. But as far as recoveries go, like sometimes when you miss position and have to play a recovery safety, that's tough. It can be hard to keep the concentration for that. So that's pretty well executed. Tim's probably going to bring out the short stick for the first time this game. Probably going over this one if they're playing with jumps. Yeah, he is. This would be a pretty slick jump if he makes it though. When you're jumping, if the cue ball's close to the rail, it does make it easier. It's easier to elevate over the ball. But still, jumping at this distance to make it into that corner pocket is pretty tough. If he gets it, he deserves the run up. Ooh, pretty close. Made a pretty good effort of that. And he left it pretty hard. We'll see what Zach calls here. A little bit more do or die on this shot than it was in the last. And he is eyeing up the bank. It looks like it crosses the line for the cue ball though. So I might have to use speed to open the angle or shorten it. Okay. Yeah. That was good execution. He's left a hard cue ball for Tim. So we'll see what Tim makes of it. The save here is pretty touchy to try and get balls moving parallel. Same speed is pretty tough. Pretty hard on the slick cloth. The angle's got to be perfect. The speed's got to be perfect. He might just line up the bank here and swing for it. He does have the score advantage. He can afford to take risks like that. It looks like he's going to play for the corner and leave the cue ball up in the kitchen, which does make the angle a little bit more awkward for the 8 ball. So he's sort of playing this a little bit two ways. Yep, and he's come quite a way off that ball. But he's left Zach another bank. But he's also left his ball down by the short rail. So if Zach can bank this and leave the cue ball at short rail, then he's basically just got a free swing at the 8, right? And he'll know that. This cue ball will be on the short rail or near it. But none of that matters because Zach takes that rack. He's up to 6. He's inching a little bit closer. Tim is obviously still on the hill. But the game is on. Alright, took a little break after rack 15, but the game is on. Zach is here to break, going into rack number 16. See what he's got. That's a pretty nice square hit. Pretty good break. Cue ball, no! Very unlucky to get kicked in there. He made both nut balls. The nut balls being the 2 balls just behind the front ball. So if you're making both of the nut balls, it's usually a pretty good strike. He was tracking towards the pocket a little bit, but probably not into it, so that 15 ball really didn't do him any favours. Anyway, Tim gets ball in hand to a look here. He probably is eyeing up the solids. That 5 ball looks like it'll pass the 10 to both sides. Yeah, it looks like there's enough space to do that. So if he can get this 2 in the side, he should have a pocket for every single ball. I'll expect him to play solids. I think he might play stripes. I think that 9-11 is a little bit awkward, that sort of cluster down there. It looks like he's eyeing up 2 into the corner. I would probably play 2 on the side, but some players prefer the corner pockets. Oh no, he's playing the 14. Interesting. Okay. Definitely not the set that I would choose, but oh, it looks like he queued up to the ball. Yeah, so you're allowed to move the cue ball when you have ball in hand with the cue, but if you hit the cue ball with the tip of the cue in a forward motion, that counts as your hit, and so that's no contact. So Zach gets ball in hand anywhere on the table, and yep, he's going to choose the solids. He's going to deal with the awkward one first, and this is a pretty good look for Zach. He can play 3 in the side after this. Yeah, nicely played with inside. Oh, don't get above. It's the only way that could have gone wrong, is if he got above that 10 ball. Unfortunate, but he still has the 2. And he looks like he's played that a little bit thin. Yeah, unfortunate to end up not on the 6 ball there. If he'd played and gotten on the 6, he could have rolled forward, played the 7 on the left-hand side, left-hand corner, sorry. And he would have been looking pretty solid. But now, Tim has a little bit of awkward layout. A little bit awkward with the 11 and the 9. And, you know, combination to start is not ideal. But he should be able to play this probably with a little bit of pace and end up with the 14 clear into the center of the table. The cue ball draws back a little bit. Or he can miscue and somehow end up with a pretty nice set. You know, you can play draw, you can play position, you can move the balls around, or you can just miscue and somehow get away with it. So, unfortunate this isn't where he wanted to be. He didn't want to be playing the 14 this deep in the table. But, you know, if this is what you get after a miscue, you know, he'll take that. A little bit of outside here, go through the center of the table. Yep, there we go. Unfortunate tap on both of those balls there. He did hit that with quite a bit of speed though, so I'm not really sure what he had in mind. I wonder if the 9 goes to the side. That would be quite an accurate bit of cueing to get that. If it does though, it does open up a lot. Oh no, he's just playing safe onto the 8 ball. Yeah, it didn't look like it went, but this is a very, very good look for Tim. I really like the look of that shot. Typically you can't play that kind of roll up safe in 8 ball, but I guess if you use the 8 ball, you can do whatever you like. Looks like he's calling the 7 ball on the kick. Tough look, tough shot. As far as outcomes go, you know, that's not bad. If he's left the window between the 11 and the 8 to make the pink in the side, that would be pretty unlucky as far as looks go. If Tim can get that in, I don't see him having any trouble with the rest of the rack. Yep, the far jaw again for Tim in the side. Might be the 4th or 5th shot that he's hit into the far jaw of the side pocket. Very unfortunate for him. Oh, he's caught that thick as well. Tim gets another live that he probably wasn't expecting to get. But, you know, he'll take it. nicely struck. Very clean stun run back of the cue ball there. Probably would have liked to get a couple of revolutions back for the 11 ball. But, he still has the 9. I think he still has the 11 just like a little bit thinner than he would like. It just means the cue ball will run just a little bit farther. He should be able to control this for one of the 10 and the 9 though. It's just ideally he would end up like dead straight on the 10. Give him a little bit of forward roll to get a little bit of angle on the 9, come back out center table for the 8 ball. Okay, then this way he's going to have to take the 9 first. As long as he gets a little bit of angle on the 10 ball, he should be pretty good. Actually, dead straight is probably fine as well. Dead straight he can just stop shot. The 8 ball have a little bit of angle, so he won't be able to stun into like literal perfect dead straight, but this is looking like the end, folks. It looks like a little bit of angle. He's going to go forward into the rail, come back out. Yeah, that's pretty nicely played. There's one more right into the corner, and Tim is home with the match. All right, and there it is. That is match in favor of Tim. It was a great match there. Zach was looking a little bit out of the game. Tim was shooting very well, up 8-2, but Zach managed to claw it back to make a much more respectable 10-6. Everyone, thank you for tuning into this friendly match at Ox on a Members Night. We're looking to get more of these streams up. If people are interested in playing, let us know. Reach out to the club, reach out to Zach specifically. It is Members Night. Membership at Ox is great. 24-hour access to the club, pro level equipment, all of that good stuff. Plenty of good people to hang out with, plenty of people to meet, always improvements to have, and yeah, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we'll see you next time.